This is something that sits in my heart and really bothers me. Working for 26 years already with individual business owners, seeing their whole financial situation, doing their tax return. What I noticed is how people handle money, the relationship with the money. And one of the things that I noticed that it doesn't matter if you were born here or if you're an immigrant from Russia or any other countries. I see the same things. I see the things that everyone is working so hard to earn this money, to make something of themselves. And then obviously the next thing is that they want to create this beautiful life for themselves. And which is beautiful and great, because I'm an immigrant myself, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. This is the exact desire that I had. I see that, okay, everyone is working, making this money, and it's so hard. And then the next thing is they start spending them right away. So instead of just saving, instead of investing, everyone is just spending without even setting up any kind of financial plan or any kind of savings plan. And this is the thing that bothers me, and this is very sad. The reason it's sad is, when I started my business 26 years ago, I have some of the clients that been with me already for all this time, some of them for 20 years, 25 years, which is great. And I'm so grateful to all of them. For those of you who are listening, thank you for being with me for all these years and trusting me with your finances. What I wanted to share is, the saddest part is you just see throughout all these years, and it's quite a lot, 20, 25 years, that's a big time, is you see that financially they're not moving anywhere. And what do I mean by that? Yeah, they're having nice jobs, they're having all these businesses, and they're doing all these activities, but then yet everything that they're making, everything that they're learning, they're spending right away. It starts small. First you start with getting a car, and then getting a better car, and then buying an apartment, and then getting a better apartment, a house, a bigger house. Yes, we all want this American dream, and it's so commercialized, and it's all there out there, all the posters, all the commercials, the TV, everyone is telling you, you gotta have that American dream, buy yourself a house. This is beautiful. And then go get yourself a loan, free money. Everyone is getting these loans, the mortgages. Get yourself this car because you can get this free loan of this cheap mortgage. It's all designed to stimulate the economy, and then designed for you to buy and spend your money. So which is all very great. But then on the other hand, how is that helping you to grow financially? How is that helping you to move financially, start acquiring this, accumulating this money? And this is what I started noticing. This is why I'm talking about, because it's kind of sad seeing people putting so much of their time and energy working for so many years, and then only to realize when the time comes for you to retire that you don't have any money to retire on. Actually, you know what? I even wanted to share with you, something just came to my mind. I remember my mom, she used to work before the COVID. She was working in the company for over 20 years. She really loved the job. She was getting these good payments. And then during the COVID, I'm pretty sure you can resonate, a lot of companies closed down during COVID. And that's exactly what happened to her company. I mean, she's at the retirement age, but she didn't want to retire because she didn't had anything else to do, so that's why she was still working. But since they closed the company, then it kind of forced her to retire. So she didn't mind that the company was closed, and she didn't mind that she's gonna retire, because financially she was all set. What I did for her to be financially set, is, since I work with money and been working for so long, what I was forcing her to do is, every year would start, I would allocate how much amount from her salary she needs to put towards the 401k. And I was forcing her to max out her 401k. In the beginning it was 20,000 and 21,000. I was forcing her to put away as much as possible towards this 401k. And at the same time also, she took advantage of the IRA, maximum contribution, and then she would always complain. She would always say, oh my God, why am I putting so much money away? It's half of my salary, and I don't have that much. But yeah, it might feel like she didn't have that much, but then yet she managed to live on that amount. Surely to say, why am I sharing all of this? Like, she's been doing this for like 15 years. So now imagine like putting away for 15 years all this amount of money. She accumulated a very good amount of money in her retirement plan. So when she was forced to leave her job during the COVID because they closed, she didn't have to worry about money because she already had this large amount that she accumulated plus whatever pension the government was giving her. But then on the other hand, her friends and co-workers that had been working with her for all these years and being close the same to her age, so she was 70 years old when she retired. At 17 years old, they couldn't afford to retire because they didn't have any funds that they accumulated in their retirement account. And that's actually very sad to think of that. And I remember even when they were looking for a job, and during COVID it was very challenging to find a job. I remember one of them was telling my mom, and she told me that story, how they said, oh, you're so lucky that you have your daughter. And my mom, she's so funny. She goes to her friend, well, I told you about my daughter. It's not my fault. It's your fault that you could have paid her a couple of $100 and go and take a consultation from her. So, I mean, the reason like I'm sharing all of this, and this is a thing, like for me it's like very painful, it's just very sad to see that people working so hard, earning all this money, but then yet not thinking of that future. And time flies. It flies so fast. And when you get to these financial challenges, so get to the moment where you need to retire, you want to make sure that you have enough money to retire. So there is another thing I actually wanted to share with you as well too, is, and I see this very often, again, working with these individual business owners, many I see thinking that, okay, now, yes, I have this American dream, I purchased this house. Now everyone is so eager to pay off this house. And I see this very often, and I actually, in fact, I want to share one of the stories too. It was a very sad story too. One of my clients, that's exactly what they were doing. So she was working in a bank, and her husband, he was a taxi driver. And for 30 years, they had this beautiful house, and they devoted all their time and energy to pay off this mortgage. So they thought that if they're going to pay off this mortgage, then they can retire. And also at the same time, so they had the house in New York and Brooklyn, and then they purchased apartment in Florida. The goal that they had is that since they have this apartment in Florida, which is completely paid off, and then now they have this whole house in Brooklyn that's completely paid off. So basically the goal is that we're going to retire, whatever the government pension is going to give me, that should be enough for me to live on. But here's the thing, the government pension is not that much unless you're having like some kind of union pensions, and then also if you're putting and setting some pension funds for yourself. So in her case, she was, I think, receiving like $1,800 for the government pension. The thing is that they didn't think about it is, yes, you might pay off your mortgage and not worry about that, but you still have to pay the real estate taxes. You still have to pay the insurance, the utility. And in fact, it's not like a set amount and fixed amount till the rest of your life. Every year, real estate tax goes up. Every year, insurance goes up. Utility bills, like all these expenses with the inflation, everything goes up. So she didn't factor this into these calculations when she was thinking, okay, I'm just gonna have this house and I'm gonna be set. So surely, and another thing that her husband, he was in a taxi, and for those who remember, taxi in New York City, that was something big. So he purchased his taxi medallion, and it costed almost like $1 million, and then he took a mortgage on that. So now when Uber came into existence, what happened to the taxi drivers, to this medallion, it literally have no value in it. But now he still has to pay off this mortgage. So surely to say, she's retired, he cannot retire because he still has to pay this mortgage on medallion, so he has to work as a taxi driver at 70 years old. And then even though they don't have to pay this mortgage, but it's still not enough money for them to pay all these day-to-day expenses because they wanted to retire and travel and spend time with their grandchildren. So now the dream that they had is that they're gonna keep this house and they're gonna live in Florida and they're gonna retire. They cannot afford this dream. So and then they faced the decision, it's whether they have to sell the house in New York or they need to sell the apartment in Florida because financially they couldn't afford both of that. And here's another thing about the apartment. Just like I mentioned with the house, that you still have ongoing expenses, the same thing happens with the apartment. Even though they didn't have any mortgage on the apartment, they still had to pay the maintenance, they still had to pay the insurance, all the utility bills. And in fact, in Florida, for those of you who know, in Florida, after all the assessments and all the things that going on with the climate-wise, with the weather, in Florida, they're constantly doing different assessments in the apartments because they have to fix the roof, they need to fix balconies, all these different things. And guess what happens? They're passing this cost to you, to the owner. So obviously, she didn't expect any of this as well. So now, she doesn't have enough money to pay for all of this. So why am I sharing all of this? Like how all of this could have been done differently. Been done differently is the way, okay, you have your house, you have your apartment. So having this mortgage, you can use this mortgage, you can leverage your money. Instead of paying and rushing and paying this mortgage, you can take this money and then invest them. So let's say, for instance, like the house that she has, it's like the value is like $1 million. You can take the home equity, or you can refinance up to like 70-80% of the value of the house. You can take this money. But then when I was telling her, she was like, yeah, but I have to pay the mortgage, I have to pay the bank, the interest. Yes, but whatever you're paying the bank, the interest, it's not that much as how much you can earn. So let's say like she takes out like 800,000. And now she takes this 800,000, she only pays, let's say like, okay, we'll say just 5% to the mortgage. And then she invests earning 10%. So now investing earning is 10%, that's 80,000 a year. From this 80,000, 40,000 she's giving to pay the mortgage. But that 40,000 she still has that now she can reinvest or spend for her day-to-day expenses. And then the same thing, having this apartment, she can do exactly the same thing. Pull the money out of that apartment and invest them, reinvest them, and make more money. Money has to make money. That's the whole point. Because otherwise, and I always tell this to my clients, if you're paying your mortgages, you're just freezing and putting the money in the brick. But it doesn't produce you anything. It doesn't give you more money. But here's another thing to consider. To be even able to refinance and pull the money out of the house, you need to have income. So in her case, she couldn't do this anymore because she was retired. So if you're retired, you don't have any income. So that's why, like if she would have done all of this a little bit differently throughout the years, and then especially like, like before she retired, like 10, 15 years ago, okay, like invest all of this money to double this money or to triple this money. One secret I would like to share with you. So whenever you invest your money, let's say if you're investing 100,000 with 10% interest rate, so it takes 7 years to double this 100,000. Meaning in 7 years, this 100,000 gonna be 200,000. In another 7 years, this 200,000 gonna be 400,000. So you see, this 100,000 in just 4 years are gonna be worth already 400,000. That's how you can do things differently. Time is your friend in this case. Take advantage of the time. Take advantage of the money that the bank is giving you. Like, like especially here in America, this is like the most fastest way to earn money is to borrow money, to borrow someone else's money, to use other people's money. In this case, using bank's money. So, working with these individuals, business owners, I see a lot of different stories. I see a lot of different life situations that happening. But all of this can be done and approached differently. It's all about understanding how money works. It's all about understanding what you can do with money. It's not just about spending and paying the bills right away. I think like it's probably like, I think the way it was instilled in us that, okay, we gotta like spend. But in reality, yes, spending is okay. But first make money and then spend someone else's money. I think that's the whole idea that I just wanted to get across this video to share with you, because it's very sad to see like how we all spend this money, hard-earned money, in reality where we can make this money work for us and then create this beautiful life that we work so hard for, and we can start enjoying and doing what matters most for us and spend the time with our families. Life is beautiful. Let's make most of it, and let's take the money to our advantage and learn how to multiply. I absolutely love this concept when you can multiply your money, and I wish I would have known that much earlier. I'm an immigrant myself, and living in this country for over 20 years, I've been working so hard, and I've been doing exactly the same things that you're doing, and spending all my time and energy and sacrificing my time, my health, my family for trading this time to make money. And I wish I would have learned what I know now, and I wish I would have done this differently. But anyway, it's better later than never. So that's why this subject is very dear for me, and I really wanted to share with you. It's just learn the wealth creation formula. And the wealth creation formula is using other people's money. It's learning how to multiply your money and accelerate your business growth. And then once you learn all of this, amazing things start happening for you. I wish you really enjoyed this video, and if you have any ideas or if you would like to share what are your thoughts about my view and about everything that I just shared with you, or if you have any other great ideas on how to multiply money, I would love to hear that, because I love money. I love to learn everything about how to make money work for you to multiply. Please share with me in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video.